Hello and welcome to Eastern Marshlands, an evening with comrades. Tonight I will be your host. I am TK, and with us as well, we also have a Goulash guy.
Hi.
We have Spoogs and shit.
Hello.
We have Eugene.
Hello, my name is Eugene. I'm your resident European on the stream.
Later on, joining us will be Comrade Pac-Man and possibly Batco. You never know. So allow me to crack open a cold one with the boys.
Oh,
I'll start.
that was good. That was a good
Aesthetic. That was ASMR right there.
To start off with a little bit of news to explain the title of this live stream. Jackie Lambie has resigned from Parliament over the dual citizenship crisis. She is number 8 of the citizenship 7. Yes.
Congratulations, everyone. Is it that one weird woman with a bus that you were talking about?
That's Pauline Hanson, the leader of One Nation. Jackie Lambie was with Palmer United and then got into Parliament and then immediately had a dummy spit and then went independent.
Yeah.
Truly
nice.
amazing.
What's always
it's a loss for Palmer. It's the Palmer United. I'm really ashamed that she left Palmer United. I think this could be I really believe in Palmer. I believe he will bring justice to this world and justice to Australia.
Don't worry, he'll mean his way into premiership soon enough.
I remember when she left and formed her own sort of party, like no one really cared because Palmer United was just the place that all the sort of not even reactionary. It's just like people who are conservative and kind of weird. Like that's where they went. They went straight to the.
It's where the weird people.
Literally, I mean, like his platform is literally just like, yo, I'm a businessman. Vote for me.
So he's like,
yes, this is the best platform.
Yeah, but now it's like, yo, I'm a rich businessman and I make dank memes on Twitter. So, you gotta find chance.
Better.
It's like it's not even like Malcolm Turnbull where he was like, we need to, stabilize the party, we need good, strong leadership. It wasn't even like that. Like Clive Palmer just went straight to like, I'm a billionaire.
I'm building a dinosaur park.
I've got companies. Vote for me. Like the thing is that he had all those sort of companies that he took money from and used that to fund his election campaign, and then he fired a bunch of people, and no one asked any questions as to the legality of those actions. No one was like, hang on a minute, you can't do that. Like no one cared enough to obviously like approach him on that.
Maybe they just wanted to see how far Palmer would go.
This is what I mean,
honestly,
all the time.
That's a good point.
Because he got a little crazy in question time, where one of his questions, he started to waffle on about national security in Asia, and then summed it up with, and my question for you, Mr. Prime Minister, is my office bugged? That's silent as a response.
It's a fair question, though. Like this man just needs to know, right? He doesn't want the government listening in on him or whatever the hell he does in his room, right? Like, come on.
I'm imagining Clive Palmer sitting at his desk with like model dinosaurs, reenacting that scene from the first episode of Firefly. Yes, everything looks good here. Yes, we should call this land. I think we should call it your grave. Curse your son of an inevitable betrayal, Jackie.
A lot of really obscure references you're throwing out here, but I'm following you.
This is
I really can just see him playing with like dinosaurs, just making like rah noises, and then he looks at the bookshelf and he's like, "What's that there? Could that be a microphone?" He looks closer. It's just a fly, and he's like, not today, Liberal Party.
Oh my god! It's my bug.
It's literally a bug.
Yeah,
It's a bugged bug.
it's is Palmer like even relevant anymore? Because
Not really.
Very
He's,
relevant.
apart from like posting funny memes on Facebook, which he must have seen what happened with Donald Trump, and he must have read the book where it's like how he got elected because of memes XD, and he must have been like, yeah, I reckon I could do that. I've got a pretty wacky platform. I'm fat. I'm white haired. I'm big. I'm cool. I can do that.
You won't be making fun of him once he becomes a PM.
Once he becomes PM and he has like the Labour dinosaur camps.
Yes.
But going back
I think
to,
our version of Jeb
Where he
Bush
sends the
standing
Labour
with an
Party
electoral
members.
map is Palmer standing with the electoral map behind him, and every electorate is just yellow, and it's just Palmer United, 100%.
I think that's one of the memes that he put out on his Facebook page. Was that?
Oh my god!
One of the things that going back to Jackie Lambie, when it comes to like those members of sort of wacky parties who get elected in or become a member of parliament and then immediately change. Quite recently, I think Malcolm Roberts, who is like the second big boy in One Nation, he also had to step down because of the leadership thing. And the guy who replaced him had very few votes. I think there was one guy who had a similar situation, but he became a member of parliament because he only had 7 votes, and he was like next in line. 7 votes. Like that man now has like an MP's wage for life.
Because of the 7 votes people gave him, this is fucking insane.
And he's the next guy in line, and he wins by default. But going back to Jackie Lambie, and okay, so Malcolm Roberts had to step down, who is like this beady-eyed devil, and he really is. He's a spooky-looking fellow. He looks like he should be on the set of Lord of the Rings. Anyway,
What's his name again?
Malcolm Roberts, he's got really blue eyes, and he's got like the scariest like grin, white hair. He does look kind of evil. Anyway, he had to step down, and someone else from the party took his place. And as soon as they became a member of parliament, they left the party and became an independent.
Oh my fucking god! I've just seen Malcolm Roberts' pictures. Oh no!
It's really
scary.
Get him away from me!
This One
Don't look
Nation
too
guy-
closely to it. Don't look into his eyes for too long. It sucks out your soul.
Yeah, this ex One Nation guy apparently in an interview was saying that he was kicked out of the party, and that Pauline Hanson was like in his office, and then eventually she just said, "You're out. You're an independent now." Blah blah blah.
Oh, I remember because I was watching the news after I was watching Q&A, which Q&A is always just an absolute mess. Anyway, it's like, Tony, I'm going to answer this question, but first let me go off on a tangent about immigration or some shit. It's like, no, please don't. But apparently what happened is he said that, she fired me. She told me I was let go. And then they questioned her, or they questioned someone else, and they were like, that didn't happen.
Ooh.
And that he dropped out himself. So, like, okay, guys, what is it? I don't want to play detective here.
Yeah, it reminds me of like 2 toddlers in a schoolyard. It's like, all right, who pushed over that bush? It's like, it was Jimmy. No, it was Bill. It's like, we're never getting to the bottom of this. We'll just have to.
Like, you're both stupid. But like waking up, hearing the news, Jackie Lambie out of politics. That just that is terrible. Like I was talking to my family about this, and I have like 4 different citizenships, maybe even 5. So
You
like,
personally?
Jesus Christ.
yeah.
Oh gosh, get out of here! You're not allowed to be like.
If I ever run for like,
Section 44.
if I ever
What?
run for a position of parliament, I've got to make a lot of phone calls. I'm going to call up the different embassies. The thing is, it costs about $30 to call the embassy and like make the question, like, hey, am I this citizenship? Can you revoke it, please? Like that costs about $30 to do that, apparently.
Oh god!
So I'm better off not running for.
Can you just burn your Hungarian passport?
30, 60, 90, 120, maybe $150 I could lose potentially
Jesus Christ.
doing that. So
Capitalism,
Capitalism
commodifying everything it can,
Oh,
even
yeah,
trying to revoke your citizenship.
but yeah, I remember like I was on the oh, sorry, I'm getting messaged. I was watching the news, and I was obviously there's the whole citizenship thing. A lot of people have had to step down. A lot of people have had to be sort of like re-elected and whatnot, and by-election bamboozle. But I was looking at the seats in Parliament. Like the Liberals now no longer have a majority. All the independent parties are fucked. So like the Parliament actually does look pretty chaotic. Sorry, I'm just getting messaged here. Oh, I'm trying to talk and message. I can't multitask. I'm a shitty man. Can't do that. But
while you message, I'd like to point out to say hello to the chat. Hello, Dib Dap. Hello, Kavaiser Wilhelm von Hohenzollern. And good morning, Sturmgenossen. He says good morning to you as well. I just want to quickly point that out. I'm sorry. Please go on.
Oh no, I was just watching the news, and
Right.
it's just so great to see the Liberal Party just sort of jump from one foot to the other, being like, no, we're in control here. Everything's fine. Everything's perfectly fine.
Well, did you see my shit post about it?
Oh, you bet I did. That was like Malcolm Turnbull. Oh, you just imagine Malcolm Turnbull, because I think he's in Vietnam right now with Trump and other politicians talking about trade and stuff. I can just imagine him going back to his hotel room or whatever, and he just sort of sits at his desk or whatnot, and he just puts his hands on his head and just like smacks the table, and he's like, ah!
Then like an aide walks in. It's like, Malcolm, we got another one, and then I'm just imagining like the bodyguards outside of the room hearing like loud screaming, like, what do we do? It's like something going on. It's like, no. Jackie Lambert resigned. Like, oh shit.
Should we go in? Nah, it's the citizenship thing. Just don't even worry about
it. Just furniture flying out the window and smashing into the pool below. Like, Jesus Christ. There's some rock star in there. Nah, mate, it's just Malcolm Turnbull.
Oh, but no, honestly, like being a member of the Liberal Party I would not wish that on anyone at the moment. Like they're in the worst position they could possibly be in. Like Malcolm Turnbull, I remember seeing this. It's like a poll. I can't remember what channel it was on. I don't want to say Channel 10 because that's obviously not going to be right. But Malcolm Turnbull's popularity is certainly going down. It's been doing that for a few months now. Labour. Oh, the popularity for Labour has kind of been going up, but like Bill Shorten.
Bill Shorten is the one that's shooting their popularity in the foot, isn't he?
To an extent, the thing is, like, whenever he does a speech, I'll listen and I'll be like, yeah, I agree with what you're saying, Bill. We do need, we need change that's actually real. Labour has good policies. Let's implement those. But he's just so like uncharismatic, and I don't want to get into the whole charismatic leader is what's important. We need a strong boy, but like, come on, like surely there are other people in the party that are more direct and vocal and capable. But I digress. And
have you ever heard Bill like when he's just talking normally to someone? He still sort of talks in that speech style.
He does, yeah.
I'm just imagining him trying to make an order at McDonald's.
Hello there. I'd like a double cheeseburger and a large meal, please. And if possible, can we have renewable energy?
I believe that we should all choose to have the classic Angus, and that the working people of Australia should have the right to access that classic Angus. Like, Jesus Christ.
It is kind of, like, again, what he says. Like, there's plenty of interviews with him, and what he says, I'm almost like, yes, you're going so good, you're getting so good there, and then he just doesn't add that oomph at the end. He's not Jeremy Corbyn, like, but it's better than the corporate man.
So news polls are showing that, well, the one news poll that I saw, it's showing that Labor's going to jump from 69 seats all the way up to 85 if a snap election was held right now. Do you think like that's actually going to happen? Do you think Labor's going to have that much pull of the pendulum?
I remember, what did you say, 62 to 85?
69 to 85.
Oh, I was about to say, Jesus, that's my God. But 69 to 85. Oof, I don't. Oh, look, as much as I'll be willing to defend the Labour Party, even though I know being like a leftist and defending the sort of centre left boys is a bit oof, but like I don't see them with that much swing. But if the Liberal Party keeps going the way that they're going, if they keep, this whole citizenship thing, if they keep sort of like club footing and jumping from one direction to the other without any sort of resolution on any matter, no sort of forward policies, then probably they could do a really good job. But I remember seeing this poll. It was like about like leader popularity. Who would you prefer in the parties and whatnot? I think I can't remember the Labour side of things. It escapes me. But like Malcolm Turnbull was like pretty low. Julie Bishop was pretty high. I saw that and I just felt, oh God, no, don't, please. I don't want that.
Well, who would you rather though, Julie Bishop or Tony Abbott?
Oh, that is a difficult question.
I take my secret third option. Neither.
I mean, you're not even wrong, Spoons. Like Malcolm Turnbull, opportunist that he is, putting in all that money to become Prime Minister, like, my God. But at the same time, Julie Bishop, like, just looking into her eyes, you can just sort of see that there's like some bad intentions. I don't know what they are. I don't know what she's trying to tell us, but there's a message.
Well, did you see the side-by-side comparison between Penny Wong's speech in the Senate and Julie Bishop's interview? How they were trash talking each other's parties, party leaders in the citizenship discussion thing. Like Julie Bishop was saying, Malcolm Turnbull had to drag Bill Shorten by the ears into his office to get him to agree to this. And then it hard cuts to Penny Wong saying, Bill Shorten has worked hour to hour trying to get Malcolm to finally agree to a compromise on the citizenship crisis, and it just cuts back and forth like that.
It reminds me of that video that H. Bummer guy did about the it was about election watch. I think about election. It was about how Jeremy Corbyn was challenged multiple times by his party associates, like basically the Labour Party, and his leadership was challenged, and how people were like criticizing him for something, and they were like basically verbatim saying that, oh, this is not good, this is terrible, and then they were doing the same thing when they challenged him in a fucking leadership debate, in the leadership challenged him, his leadership, and then after 2 days of running against Jeremy Corbyn, they drop out. It's like literally, it's like the campaign against Jeremy Corbyn of one of the candidates lasted for 2 days, and then they dropped out because they.
Oh, I love that when they challenged him the first time, they were like, "Oh yeah, we'll just say that he's bad for the party, and then someone else will win, and he'll have to resign or whatnot." And then they lost, and then they tried it, and then they tried doing that a second time, and they lost by even more.
That's insane. It's like, oh, wait a second. I think our constituents actually likes that guy. Whoops. We can't do nothing about it now.
Whoa, he's actually making the Labour Party look good again.
Oh shit, I hate him now. What the fuck?
Make the Labour
Despite
Party
the fact that I'm Labour Party.
Didn't a few fellow party members nominate Jeremy as a joke?
As a joke.
Yeah, they did.
And people fucking loved them.
I think that's what happened the first time, was that they elected him as a joke.
And he
Yeah,
offered one.
I think they even did that the second time as well, because they were like, there's no chance that he could win again.
And he did. Fuck.
Just up and did.
So yeah, it's like those, I mentioned it mostly because of I love when politicians like say something and criticize someone for X, and then they go ahead and do complete opposite stuff, and you're like, what the fuck? Wait, what? Didn't you just said some completely different stuff? And then you point it out to them, and they're like, no. They just like refuse to answer that, and it's so like they hypocritical on another level, You know how how your school teacher, maybe like your most hated school teacher, could be hypocritical, and you hate your school teacher for that. Just imagine this is like the hypocrisy of your authority figure from your childhood is nothing compared to authority figures in real life.
Oh, Jesus.
It's like those people are fucking living in hypocrisy. They're swimming in hypocrisy, and they just, they are hypocrisy materialized. Basically, abstract concept of hypocrisy.
Does this sort of thing happen in Belarus, though, with like prominent members of government just being an absolute knee-slapping, laughing of the time?
Yeah, because we mostly our politics is literally two scenes on TV. First thing is our president sitting in the room, basically like shouting at his ministers and being angry at them because they failed him, and they're just standing around there being sad and being ashamed of themselves. And the second scene is the president going to some sort of factory and being shocked at the at either how good it is kept or at how badly it is managed. And then he like says something and to the cameras, and that's it. That's all the politics that we have. Like, usually president goes around and looks at different factories, and he fires a couple of bosses, and he's like basically, working, dealing with bullshit. And while you look at the news and you think like, oh, I think he's dealing with shit, stuff is being done. You look at like real economic data, and you're like, oh, wait a second, I think we're still fucked. So
it's
yeah,
like,
Well, shit.
It's like when you see Malcolm Turnbull half-assedly like walking through a factory pretending to like
Give a
work
shit.
the machine when he's probably never seen like a
Yeah.
hydraulic press in his life before.
it's the same stuff here.
Strange metal contraption.
Yeah.
Smacking at the sides of it like, come on.
Work. Where's the on switch?
This is literally Belarusian politics. Unironically.
Like Malcolm points at a hydraulic press and says, "So how does this turn oil into vegetable oil?"
Or he just yells at it to turn on. Hydraulic press. On!
He's looking around for someone to pay to turn it on.
Look, mister, I'll give you $5,000 if you can turn this hydraulic press on. Thanks, mate.
Oh, speaking of making things,
grant you with the finest horse in the realm.
speaking of spending money to make things work, Elon Musk, please,
Oh god.
this battery that you keep talking about, I keep hearing good things. I keep hearing, 100 days, or I'll do it for free. You smug piece of crap. Just build it. Don't do that.
Battery, Elon.
He could make the most outrageous claim, like, 50 days, and I'll do it for free. Like, come on, mate. You'll do it for free anyway.
Just build that fucking battery, Elon. This is not a request. This is an order.
He does it in like 50 days. Not even that. He does it in like 30. And it's like, whoa, guys, I built the world's biggest battery in 30 days. That's a new Guinness World Record. But it's not about that. What matters is innovation and skill. And, you know what? South Australia, I love you so much. I'm not even going to charge you for it. And then he just smiles off and he just walks. I hate him so much. Just build a battery. Come on. Get this country to... I love that we haven't even worried about like federal government or anything past that. We've just gone straight to Elon Musk, straight to the billionaire. Like, please, sir, help us. Like, cup in hand. You know, come on, hey, please, sir, I want some electricity. Like, we're out here living in like every post-apocalyptic film ever. Basically, Mad Max, Children of Men, anything you can think of. Like, the internet, my internet goes out like 2 or 3 times a day. Sometimes the entire
go out during this live stream.
Sometimes the entire internet just goes out randomly. It just cuts out. Like, I'll be playing some video games, and then all of a sudden it's just like gone. Like, oh my god, just build this battery, make it happen. I don't want to live in. I like Fallout. I thought those games were great. I don't want to live in the real life version. Come on, build that battery, Nicky.
Hello.
Oh, Poseidon's Pac-Man, what up?
Hello, Pac-Man. Good to have you here. How's it going?
I got Doritos, motherfuckers. Let's do this.
Well, hey.
Oh, he's got his game feel on hand.
I can imagine like I don't know, somehow Elon Musk is on his private jet and he's got all the engineers on another, right? But the engineers land in Melbourne, Elon goes to Adelaide, and they're like, yes, Elon, you're finally here, build the fucking battery, and everyone like got him at gunpoint. He's like, oh shit, all the engineers are in Melbourne, so he just starts throwing piles of money at power poles just to try to get it to work.
It's like, oh shit, I have to go with a plan B now. Throw money at the problem. Wait a second.
Elon Musk. He's gonna build a fucking battery and he's gonna make Victorians pay for it.
It's like, have you tried unplugging it and then plugging it back in again? No. Have you tried throwing money at it? That'll work. It's like, no, the internet is just so bad.
That ain't working.
I have NBN. NBN is supposed to be so good. Sometimes it'll bump up. I'll be downloading something and it'll be like 20 megabytes a second. I'll be like, yeah, that's pretty good for South Australia. And then it'll go up to like 40, 50, and I'll be like, oh, fuck yeah. It'll go up to 70, 80. Oh my god, yes, 100, 110. Oh, I'm about to like fucking explode everywhere. 230. And then it drops down to like 20 kilobytes a second, and I'll just want to punch something. I want to like break a portrait of like, what have I got in the room that I can break? Oh, I don't want to break that. That's a nice picture frame of like a Russian worker, and he's grabbing someone's hand, and the hand has a $ sign on it. I've just got this old US
pictures of Russian workers. This is what Gulash decorates his room with.
I've got some socialist realism here.
So you've got. So you're on the NBN. You're on the NBN.
I've got NBN. There's been so many complaints, though, to be honest. Like, if you call up, basically, Telstra has had to like refund a whole bunch of people.
Yep.
Yeah, because I think they were lying about like the plans they were handing out. They were saying, oh yeah, if you go in this plan, you get 100 megabits per second. But the cable that like went to your house couldn't provide 100 megabits per second. It was like max 20. So
we did. Yeah, because
it really is.
Hooray for the Liberal Party, everybody!
Yeah, because the coalition abandoned fiber to the home and just went with fiber to the node. Yet everyone was screaming their lungs off, me included, saying, "What the fuck are you doing? You'll just have to replace it later."
Well,
and now, like a couple of years later, and it's like they announced, like, "Holy crap! This copper from the node to the home is crap. We're gonna have to replace it. Thanks, Labour." And no one bought their bullshit. We're like, what the fuck, Malcolm? Jesus Christ.
Like, it wasn't even like the Liberal Party in general. It was Malcolm. He was communications minister. It was him.
Damn it, Malcolm. One job.
His job in life is to sell this shit. May I remind you all that NBN, fiber to the node, is the pulsating cancer on the side of human development that is Australia's communication system. And I tell you right now that, no, you guys don't understand. You don't work in the industry, but I'll break it down for you. The original plan was to have 3 communications types, right? You guys know this. Fiber to the premises, wireless / satellite, right? Yeah, okay. Wireless/satellite. And you also have freaking fiber to the curb, like fiber to the building. 3 types. Alrighty. Now,
Okay.
the Liberal government comes in and says, all right, we're going to cut costs. So we need to restrict it. So we're going to go wireless. We're going to go fiber to the node, which means we have to install nodes at the end of everybody's street. Then we're going to go fiber to HFC coax because the coax people don't want to give up their cable. Then we're going to do fiber to the curb as well because we needed to go into some of the government buildings. Then we need to go fiber to the gate or something like that, where it's like, you know, those gated communities where you have an internal fiber system and then you rig it up. So the Liberal government says we're going to install this system to cut costs and save money. In the end, there are now 8 different types of NBN available on the market, and you're all trying to get them to talk to each other, all of which are not performing to their expectations. And you know what it's gonna happen to fix this issue? The Liberal government is going to have to spend 3 times the original pricing for the original plan for the NBN.
Jesus Christ.
And I am responsible for selling this product to the Australian people. I can't say which company I work for, but I'm responsible for selling this to the Australian people. And my life is
Your life revolves around polishing a turd.
Oh yeah. Speaking of that, today I had an interesting call today. I had a
Story
discussion-
time.
Yep, story time. I'm sure you guys as leftists would have a kick out of this. There a lady called up applying for financial hardship today. And okay, that's fair enough. We in the business have to handle this sort of thing all the time. I asked why. The customer had an internet service, her mobile phone, and her husband's mobile phone, and I think an iPad for their daughter. That's about it. Nothing too extravagant. They had a $1,500 bill outstanding, and I asked them why, and the simple response was, Centrelink is so backlogged with applications for relief that they can't handle the influx. I asked them why the costs were so high, and she says, well, apparently 2 of her children have severe medical conditions, but their Medicare application through Centrelink has been stalled by 4 months, and so she can't. So she's having to pay for their medicine, you know, at $60 a bottle of medicine that lasts a week, out of her own pocket for both of her kids, plus their doctor's expenses, plus their therapy, plus everything else, which the government and Centrelink should be covering. But they haven't been.
Oh, it's absolutely just
disgusting.
We need to do something like it's fucked.
Hold on, I'm just trying to find my
This is terrible.
red flag so I can start marching on Canberra right now.
Like, I know. And I sort of said to her, like, you know, it's not their fault. At least we've got a universal healthcare system. But what's the real problem? The Liberal Party recently, I saw something here, is trying to cut jobs in the public sector, as Conservative parties already do. And I'm like, guys, they don't have enough fucking administrators to get our systems to work, and you want to fire more? Like, are you kidding?
Christ.
What is with these fucking people? Like, I don't think they have brains. I think their entire head is just skull all the way through.
I remember the employment place that I go to. Basically, what happened was I couldn't come in because I was really sick, so I had to get like a doctor's certificate, and I was like, I can't come in, boys. I feel gross. I feel all yucky. You know, here's a doctor's certificate so that I can't go. And the employment place didn't get it. And I'm like, oh, why didn't you get it? They're like, oh, it hasn't come through Centrelink, so we got to go to Centrelink. And Centrelink is like, oh, we couldn't pass this because it says that the condition that you have is temporary. And I'm like, well, yeah, but it's been exacerbated. And they're like, oh, well, why? You know, we can't take this because it hasn't been described properly. It says that it's temporary and it'll go away. So, it's just absolutely like, okay, a doctor's certificate is a legally binding document. Like if you go to the doctors and you're like, "Yo, doc, I'm a bit sick," and then they're like, "Yes, you are. Here is a doctor's certificate to say that you don't have to come into work tomorrow." If you try and come into work tomorrow with the doctor's certificate and then you crash the car, you're not going to be legally covered because you have a document that says don't go to work. It's just crazy the way
that binding here as well. Yeah,
it's the way that it's just so crazy. Like Centrelink is absolutely just broken. It's an absolute mess.
My job agency had to get me to. They asked me to apply. I won't say which job agency. They tried to get me to. They said I had to apply to 20 places. The trouble is I'm not qualified for any of those places because the only jobs that are advertised all say that it's both an entry-level position, but you need prior experience. And I tried to explain this paradox to them, and they just said, look, all you need to do is just apply to 20 jobs. That's it. Doesn't matter what it is. I'm like, haha, you said it first. So I ran home as fast as I could and applied to 20 different CEO positions. Apparently that still counts.
I'd love if you actually got a call back for one. And it was like, yo!
I did. I actually did get emailed back.
Oh.
And they said, we like your honesty, but we're going to have to pass. Because in the section that said, why do you want to apply for this position? And I replied, money. And then it said, what is your greatest strength? And I said, honesty.
Yeah, I'd like some food, please, and some money for rent, please.
I love that. Survival.
Yeah, survival.
Why do you
I like
this job? Survival. I just need food.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Hopefully
Alive.
fed. Hopefully alive.
Well,
Hopefully not
I
starving
really
on the
like
streets.
I really like Grade A Under A's video on this, especially the animated version, where it's like, oh, so why do you want this job? Because money, you idiot! I don't want to end up on the street addicted to crack.
Where do you
see yourself in 5 years? Oh, hopefully not in this shithole. Hopefully I've won the lottery and doing a bit better for myself.
No, it's just sort of like, it's like wrong things to say at a job interview. So, what do you want from this job? Well, I want to broaden my horizons. I want to experience new things, all this claptrap, yada, yada, yada. Now, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Hopefully, using Benjis to snort coke off a stripper's tits. But, we're working in concert here. This is where I see myself in 5 years.
Jesus fucking
Truly a
Make
gold
it
rush.
rain. Make it fucking rain.
Oh god.
Jesus Christ.
I think like currently the stories we've told of like job agencies and shit is like gonna be repeated 10 times over to whoever you talk to in Australia, just because the economy is so shit. There's just not enough jobs to go around, so everyone's in a job agency. But just imagine, right, if all the job agencies suddenly teamed up and said, all right, what we'll do is we'll just have our clients be hired by each other's job agency for some stupid cleaning role or something.
Yes.
So you just balk the system.
This is literally what the first world capitalism is aiming for. Creating bullshit jobs. Yeah.
Laughs in 17.85% youth unemployment.
Yeah.
You say it like a joke, but it cuts real deep.
It does. It's like when you've been looking for work for like 3, nearly 4 years, it's pretty oof.
Big oof.
I have
Eugene, you were
an
about to say,
employment
yeah.
job. Yeah, I have an employment job employment story as well. I was looking for a job, right? And there was this thing in a game development studio. They make mobile games, and I was like, oh, I know the name of a studio. They're rather interesting. They're rather big. Glorious Wargaming, that develop like World of Tanks, and I'm constitutionally obliged not to criticize them as a video game studio, and I will not. They're basically like a glorious thing, like that everybody points to and fucking adores. This is the Wargaming. We have an amazing IT industry, and this is like the top of the fucking mountain of Belarusian IT is the Wargaming, because of the salaries and all this stuff. It was a different company, and I went to that company and I was like, "Yo, what up? I want to be." The position was called community manager, so it's literally managing the community. That's what I do on YouTube, right? That's literally what I'm fucking doing every day for fun, you know. And I wanted to get paid for that. I was like, "Wow, that's amazing! I'm gonna go there, gonna get this job." That's going to be amazing. So I went there. I've spent 1 hour talking to an HR manager about how amazing I am, right? And literally 1 hour of intense fucking interviewing. And I was like, oh God, I'm so fucking tired after that. And then she was like, okay, I will send you like a test so a test task. Like you will have to do this task. It's like a set of tests that you will have to do. So we will determine how well experienced you are and like what can you do, blah blah blah. And I'm like, okay, no problem. I go home. I check out this thing that they send me, and I was like, sounds okay. Sounds like it's like literally something really easy. It's like, for example, you are managing an MMORPG game, and the servers are down. Tell me what you're going to post on official forum and Twitter. What you're going to write to the people, like about the issues with the server. Like no problem at all. And I do it, and I look through it. No problems. It's rather cool. Quality job. I send it over, and then 3 days after, I get a call back from HR manager, and she said that I am refused my position. But not on the basis of my previous experience, not on the basis of how well I did the tasks, but because of my English language skill, or rather lack thereof of English level. And I was like, what? You have an issue with my English language? What?
What?
I think you speak pretty good English, my man.
Yes, I speak really good English. And I was like, what? How do you determine that? Like, what do you mean by this? I even have a fucking Cambridge University certificate that proves the level of my English language. Like, what the fuck?
What is this
And like,
shit?
and I'm like, wait a second. How did you do? Oh, it's level of English. And I was like, wait a second. Did you want me to write the tweets about your fucking MMORPG in Victorian fucking English? Or do you want me to like simply explain and like use appropriate words for that? And it was like, and I tried to get out of this HR manager, why exactly, did you refuse me? And she was like, "Nah, it wasn't me making the decision. It was the global community manager from fucking Bulgaria." And I'm like, "What?"
Globalists.
Fuck, you beat me to it.
It's fucking. No, it's not even the global. It's Bulgarian. Some Bulgarian person there decided my English wasn't good enough without even listening to my English.
Fucking Bulgarian internationalist? Piece of shit.
Bulgarian internationalist pieces of shit. This is why I hate Bulgaria now.
Never thought I'd get angry at Bulgarians for criticizing people on their English-speaking capabilities, but here we are.
All I'm going to say is, Goulash, Tito didn't go far enough. All the fucking
This
way.
is proof that like Greater Yugoslavia should have happened and then been balkanized. Then there'd be like
Like, what the
three
fuck?
different then there'd be 3 different Bulgarias.
So we've got a question in the since we're talking about jobs and whatnot, we've got a question from V Tomatoma in the chat that he's going for a job soon. What should he put on his resume?
Incoming memes. Give us the sec, boys.
Yeah, there is.
I mean,
When they ask you what is your future intention, simply write this: engaging in intercourse and acquiring currency.
No. For your future, you gotta write. So I see myself in the future as taking over this company, killing your boss, and turning it into a commune.
Using the
This is
memes.
gonna get you the job like that, like bam, instant. They'll hire you. Trust me, works every time.
Like,
Just,
see, I have some.
when you're
actually,
handing
no.
your resume, when you're making your resume, right, you take a picture of a hammer and sickle and set the opacity to about like 2 or 3% and put that as the background. So everything looks fine. But if you hold it up to the light, suddenly they'll be blinded by a hammer and sickle.
No, I got way better.
Oh, I'm gonna do that now. Damn it.
Employment is a spook. Just show up there and start working.
Well, actually, there was a guy who called up some random. I think it was a restaurant. He wasn't even didn't even live in the city. Didn't even know the guy. He just called up a random restaurant and said, "Look, guys, man, I'm sorry, I'm really sick. I don't think I can come in." And the manager, who could be heard on the line, said, "Like, oh, look, we're still gonna have to get you to come in." And he's like, "All right." Shows up and does a shift as like a dish pig.
What a fucking legend!
Shows up and starts working.
I remember I went to I remember I went to like I can't remember if it was Target or it was one of those
I can't
places.
get on with this.
It was one of
I'll kill you,
Not
Eugene.
working. This is the fucking glorious plan for the revolution. A giant fucking crowds of unemployed people just come into fucking job place and start working there.
No, hundreds of unemployed people going to the police station and suddenly being police.
Yes.
The
Fuck
thing,
you, I want a job.
I was gonna say I remember going to like I think it was Target or one of those places. It was a company in Australia. It was one of those like retail places. And I remember wearing like a red shirt, which is like their uniform, and I was wearing jeans. And someone like walked up to me and they were like, "Oh, excuse me, sir, can you tell me where the kitchen aisle is?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's just down the left and take a right at the I don't know, the furniture section or whatnot, the clothes." And they're like, "Oh, thanks." And I was like, I had to run to my friend and I was like, "We need to leave." And I'm like, and then I'm like, and they're like, "Why?" And I'm like, "People are going to ask me where things are. I'm wearing a red shirt. This is the company shirt. I don't want to be here. I don't want that responsibility." You want to
Done so much. Someone
I know that there was those. I know that there was that
called
group.
break time. You could have gotten in the back room and been like, "Hey guys,
Like,
have you ever thought about maybe joining the union?"
like, "Hey
Yeah,
guys,
this
how's
is another
things?
thing.
How's things? Oh, we're just on lunch break. Yeah, work's pretty exhausting, right? If we were in a union, we would have more rights."
You walk into the back room.
Hang on a minute. You don't work here. Ah.
No. You walk into the back room. You go, "Hey guys, how's it going? Oh, it's going good." Then you slam an AK on the table and go, "Have you ever considered overthrowing your boss and turning this into?"
Hey guys, the boss needs us. We don't need him.
Daily reminder.
The funny thing is, I do carry a Swiss Army knife wherever I go. The temptation not to go into like various restaurants and stuff, but to just carve, like the bathrooms. They don't have security cameras in the bathrooms. To just carve hammer and sickles into the mirrors.
This is the good practice. By the way, this is another great opening phrase for your boss. You don't send a CV, you just show up and you're like, "Hello, my name is Jeremy, and my plan is to unionize this place in a week and leave. Can we get on with it, please?
Just instead of V Tomatoma, instead of handing in your resume, just hand in the Communist Manifesto.
Yes.
Have a proper cover letter and
Manifesto.
everything. Like, hello, sir, I'm interested in the position. Then he flips over the cover letter, and it just says, "A spectre is haunting Europe."
Guaranteed to get the job.
Just print out like workers' councils by Anton Panachoic and hand that in. Don't even have a cover letter. Don't even have like a CV at the beginning. Just hand it in. It's like what are your credentials, sir? I've read this. You should too.
No, hand him the depression book. He'll read the depression book. He'll become so sad, and he'll be bawling his eyes out in the corner of his office, and you can probably just convince him to hand over the company to you.
It's too much responsibility.
You've gone all
It's too much
robotic again.
It's too much responsibility. This work. You need to get on with your life. You need to do something. You're in your 40s. Give the company to me.
Oh God. Yeah, it's a good ideas, my dudes. Oh yeah, the Vito Matora writes, no joke, some crazy Russian lady told me to literally just walk up to a cafe and ask to work the machine with no experience. In my opinion, this is the most old school thing you can do. I think you can still pull it off if you're like in for example, in like Brighton Beach. Like, you come to some Russian establishment and you say, "Hi, I'm Jewish. I want to work here," and they're like, "Oh, sure. Here you go."
I managed to do
This
that.
is how you get a job in Brighton Beach.
I managed to do that because a friend of a friend owned a game store. Won't say which one. And I said to him, like, "Oh, my job agency wants me to possibly do a trial. Could I do it here?" And he's like, "Sure thing. Just get me the forms to fill out." I'm like, "Sure thing." Never got the forms. And then the friend of the friend came over, right, to my house just to pick up cards from the boyfriend. And I'm like, "Oh, hey, yeah, you're from the thing." And he's like, "Oh, yeah, did you ever get those forms?" And I was like, "Oh, I couldn't, unfortunately, so I can't really do the trial. So you might as well just hire me." And he's like, "Yeah, maybe. Bring in a resume." I'm like, "I'm in." Oh, this pretend confidence is working. So the very next day, right, very early in the morning, which was 11, I went up to him with my resume, and I'm like, "Hey, here's my resume. So my availability is here, here, and here. When do I start?" And he's like, "Yeah, okay, yeah, you're hired." And that's how I got the job. The trouble is, I didn't know at the time. But the guy I spoke to, who's the owner, had worked 5 12-hour shifts aft. And that's the only reason I got the job, was because he wanted to go home early and sleep.
Well, that's a noble cause to hire somebody, because you want to sleep.
Yeah.
No, seriously, I did that too. Although I didn't get the job, but I did that too. I walked. Like, literally, Goulash, up in the Adelaide CBD, on West Terrace, how they've got all those, I'm doxing myself, how they've got all those car yards, those really fancy ones.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I grabbed my resume and, no joke, balls deep, walked straight through the front door of CMI Toyota's headquarters. Ooh. And said, "Hi, can I have a job?" You need someone to sell cars? I'll do it. They just sort of looked at me like the secretary, she's like, "I've got 48,000 pieces of paperwork to do today, and you think you're important enough to talk to me?" Just sort of like, I just sort of put my resume down on the desk and I'm like, "Yeah, cool. Could you chuck this to your boss at some stage? Thanks." And I just walked out. I didn't get an email. But I still tried.
Fucking boss, though.
That's an amazing way to apply to a job. Just go there.
Well,
she isn't even joking.
And ask.
She isn't joking. Like, people can automate sending out resumes to different online positions, which means, like, if there's an advertised job in your local area, there's probably like 10 bots that have made 10,000 applications each to that one position simply because it's advertised online. So I thought, I did a similar thing. I'm like, hey, that's a good idea. So I went to seek.com.au and I just applied to everything.
Right.
And I get like my not my Hotmail, my other email account has it's just filled with automated messages of, hey, we received your resume, we'll get back to you soon. And then like a second later it comes back, we looked at your resume, unfortunately you have not been accepted.
One day.
Just trying to...
One day.
I tried on Seek, and that Seek actually got me my current job, believe it or not. But I really wanted, like, I don't know if I've told this story on the stream before, but there's a halfway up the northeastern freeway, I think it is, up that way from my town. There's a wholesale supplier for all kinds of goods. Like, example, mainly they do gardening and sort of like agricultural stuff. So they handle all the contracts for the farmers in the local area. And so I went up there to become a sales rep to sort of do coordination with the organized deals for, fertilizer and all that sort of thing. And I went up to the main office and I applied for the job. And the one question he asked me was like, why do you want this job? And I said, well, I want to it's my gateway into sales. I want to do something a bit harder. And then on the way out after our interview, he's like, yeah, man, that was a pretty good interview. You did all right. You did okay. But what's the real reason? Because he was like, he saw his like, employers hear this shit all the time. And I turned around and said, you want to know the honest reason, brother? And he's like, yeah, sure. I'm like, I want this on my resume as a stepping stone, quite simply because you're working in the agricultural department and wholesaling for the farmers of South Australia. Really, all I wanted to do was to be able to unironically put shit salesman on my resume.
Oh, yeah.
And he just looked at me. No, I didn't get the job, but he died. I thought I was going to get it. Like, he sent me an email. Actually, he actually replied back to me. He says, "Look, man, like I really liked you, but like a guy with like 10 years experience in the agricultural industry came in after you." So it's like, yeah, fair enough, but I really wanted it though, just so I could do that. But now I work for a telecommunications company. So
I've had that happen to me. Like, not many people will know, but I'm like, as the phrase goes, I'm aspy as fuck. And I've got like learning difficulties and whatnot, and anxiety, so I need help. But I've gotten over it. But a couple of years ago, I was with the job agency, and they helped me talk to. It was like a confectionery wholesaler. So they ran me through what to do, how to talk to people, and then they set up an interview. So I went to the interview, and I was really nervous, but I was doing okay. Count to 1 to 10 over and over again. And I actually did really well, but like I was so exhausted after like mentally trying to prepare myself just for going in for a quick interview. But what happened was they took me onto the floor and started explaining how to do the job, like take the thing here and go here. And I'm like, oh, I think I have the position. I think I got the position. Oh my God. And then after the interview thing, I was going to hop on my motorbike and leave. And the guy was like, oh yeah, you did pretty good. You might want to clear your schedule. And I'm like, sure thing. And I get on my bike and riding away. I'm like, holy shit, that means I got the job. And I'm actually legitimately starting to clear my positions and be like, oh, I don't need to hand in resumes. I'm so excited. And then I get a call from the job provider and they say, look, you haven't been successful. I'm like, what? And it's like, oh, some guy saw you leaving and then walked in after you and was like, oh, do you have a position open? He said, yeah. And he handed in a resume and he had like a little bit of experience as opposed to my none, and they gave the job to him straight away. I'm like, God damn it!
Oh God!
I got ninja'd at a job. Yes, I got heckin' bamboozled by it.
Heckin' fucking bamboozled.
Oh, this story genuinely made me sad.
Rip in peace.
Hey, I don't know if any of you guys saw it, but I know TK here did. That this is a bit of an inside joke for some of the Eastern Marshland guys. I finally completed my campaign the other day.
Oh,
yes.
explain to people what you've been doing and tell me how did it finish.
Okay.
I just love the video that you put up though, because I had my speakers turned up really loudly. But yeah, go ahead and explain before I ruin it.
Not to dox myself, on my personal Facebook page, I uploaded a video of my successful conclusion. I have been working on a pet project. I'm a war gamer, as I've mentioned in previous streams, and for the past 1.5 years, I have been running simulations in a game called Gary Grigsby's War in the East. Now, I don't know if you guys know about it, but it is literally the most hardcore simulation of the Eastern Front in any wargaming title ever. Like, Hearts of Iron is little baby. Look at this. It has taken me...
The Chad Gary Grigsby's.
Yes, Gary Grigsby is Chad. Is the literal Chad of war games. But it's taken me 1.5 years to take Moscow as the Germans. You don't understand. And I don't mean in-game years. That is literal, real-life years. I have been trying I have been 1.5 years trying to take Moscow as the Germans. And
you finally did it.
And I finally did it the other day. It took me. I did it in the full campaign mode, as playing as the Germans with the most optimum conditions available. Because I told my guys maybe to bring a jumper this time. I managed.
Great strategy,
genius. I managed to take it by 1943. It took me 3 fucking years, 2 million Germans, and 14 million Russians.
Did you avoid Stalingrad to try to not make the same mistake?
No, I took Stalingrad on the march. They didn't have time to dig in. The way I did it was simple. I decided not to be a retard and thought, well, there's only one way I can survive. There is no way I'm going to be like, I don't have enough gas to get all the way to Moscow and Leningrad and God knows where else. So I took Leningrad first, and then I'm like, what to do now? Oh shit, winter's here. And then, oh, holy shit. I don't know if you've seen Angry Russians in winter, but that is fun.
I have. I've been outside.
Oh yeah,
dude. It's
you are an angry Russian in winter.
I've seen some. This is crazy. Those people are dangerous. You shouldn't come up to them. And fighting against them in a war, that's a completely different story. We had a whole war about that, dude.
No, man.
Jesus Christ.
It's horrifying. Anyway, after losing about 5 million men in the first year, Stalin thought maybe perhaps, you know, a different strategy was required. So he decided to dig in along all fronts. So I took Leningrad in 1941 instead of sieging it. And then the Finns came to help. Yay. Huzzah.
Yes.
Go Finland. Freed up Army Group North only to try and take the entire southern front. So I had to take on the entire Soviet Belarusian front and the entire Soviet southern front. And by the end of 1942, I had managed to fully encircle and destroy both of them.
Oh god.
Nice.
Now I don't know if you guys like. Long story short, it has taken me to complete that game 3 weeks. To play one game, it's taken me 3 weeks. 4 hours a day over 3 weeks.
So tell me, what's the situation now? Is that it? Is it just against the Soviets? So they capitulated, you won the game, right?
Technically, the scenario doesn't end until the historical end date of the war, so I could theoretically keep playing, but I've decided to declare victory, like you would in cricket, because I've taken every. You would not believe. I launched what I call Operation Gotterdammerung, the Twilight of the Gods.
Oh,
Now the reason, Goulash, you don't know. Oh wait, you've seen Iron Sky, Goulash, haven't you?
I have seen Iron Sky.
You know exactly what I'm talking about. Instead of being a retard like Hitler, I got every single Panzer division I could, and I'm like, okay, you see that oil field over there? Drive towards it. Just go. And it turned out that the Russians thought I was going for Stalingrad naturally, so they dug guys in there. But they also thought, hang on, he's going to try and cut us off, so let's fortify the Caucasus Mountains. I ignored them both, smashed through the gap, and reached the Caspian Sea.
Jesus Christ!
And cut the rail link from Baku. 1.5 million Russian soldiers with no supplies from the Urals, who surrendered en masse. The entire southern army of the Soviet Union surrendered. All of them. Every last one.
Completely fucking destroyed.
And so I turned north, took Stalingrad.
You gotta be careful, because there might be like neo-Nazis and alt-right white nationalists listening, thinking like, all we need to do is convince Comrade Pac-Man to join our side, and we get ourselves a time machine. Go back in time.
Well, you see,
and have him win the war.
Let him be Hitler now.
No, you want to know what I would do? The first thing I would do is if I was elected by the neo-Nazis to lead the Reich instead of Hitler during the war, the first thing I would do is I would not stop at Warsaw. I would keep rolling all the way to Moscow, and the reason I do it is quite simple. I would roll up with my fucking P-39Ts, you know, out of Czechoslovakia, and say, "Oh, hi, T-34s. How's it going? Hi." I would force the Wehrmacht to commit ritual suicide. More than that, I would send Stalin a telegram saying like, "Yo, you're a cunt. I'm coming for you now."
Are you ready for these 24-inch pythons?
No, when the Germans invaded the Soviet Union initially and encountered the KV-1, it was quite funny because you just sort of like, we have our 37mm anti-tank guns. They are very effective against the Allied tanks. Oh, Scheiße. Was ist das?
You better understand there, brother. Are you ready for these T-34-inch pythons?
T-34-inch pythons. No, it's like, you know, Soviet tank crews just rolling into battle. Like, you know, they make jokes about the Tiger tank, but really, in the T-34 against those 37mm, it's like, dink, dink, Yuri, they are kicking cans at us. Do you want to stick head out of window? Hey, look at it. It's cute little gun. They are throwing spitballs at us, Tavarish. Well, you know what we need to do now. Run them over.
You see, Ivan.
You see, Ivan. You have to have a really high IQ to understand these German. They are apparently the masterminds, you know.
Amazing.
Does war in the East like represent Russia? I mean, I guess it would focus on like the military tactics and whatnot.
It does, in the sense that I think you need to put the Russian defense bonus on. But apart from that, yeah. The only thing I will say is that the Russian winter in that game is a little bit overpowered. I had to disable it because it made the assumption that, you know, in one game, like 800,000 of my men froze to death, and I sort of thought to myself, you know what? If I was the Wehrmacht, I'm gonna turn on like reduced blizzards because, quite frankly, I'm not a retard like von Kluger. I'm issuing my soldiers jackets. I don't care. I'm gonna go to Hitler and say, look, we're not gonna win by winter. I'm issuing the men jackets. You can suck my dick.
A telegram to the mighty Wehrmacht army. You might want to put a jacket on.
Tavares, do you want jackets? We have them in plentiful supply.
Fuck.
So the reason I asked,
the jacket.
the reason I
We
asked
want
is
more
'cause,
now. What the fuck?
I was talking to a friend of mine, Smiley, who've been trying to get onto the show, but he doesn't come on. You coward, self-crit, Smiley, you coward. I was talking to him about like representations of socialism in video games, and my main complaint is that if it's made in America, right, you'll think, oh great, I'll switch my economy over to socialism. The workers will be in control of the means of production, and our GDP will go up. You switch over to socialism, and then all of a sudden your economy just tanks, and then you lose the game immediately because the game was made in America.
Well, I don't know. What game is that in? I mean, in Democracy.
Before Democracy 3, yeah, it's because everyone's like, wow, I don't want to work. I remember I was playing before. I basically turned Australia into like libertarian North Korea, which sounds really weird. Like basically we've got like free markets and everything, but there's like closed borders, security cameras everywhere, state press, but corporations are very big boys.
Anarcho.
And then I ended up getting assassinated by like, the Catholic version of ISIS.
Catholic ISIS.
Yeah, they like kicked in the doors and shot me.
Catholic states come for you,
Catholics.
The Catholic
So we've got
extremists.
socialism or
really
barbarism in the chat. So we got socialism or barbarism in the chat, and he says, "Who would win, the mighty German army or a bunch of snowflakes?"
Well, Chili boy.
Chili boy.
I can tell you right now. I can tell you right now. I've got to. I know you guys are going to see it shortly. I was going to do a little bit of a meme. I'm going to work on a shit post for it, but it's going to be like when I'm going to be like false flag it. I'm going to false flag it. I'm going to be like when you finally achieve fascism and crush the filthy Bolsheviks or whatever, and it's going to have like a neo-Nazi with a thought bubble, and this is going to pop up in his head, right? Okay, this is going to be the song that's going to be playing in the background.
Oh, you've sent a thing.
In the
I don't
link?
think we
What
can
have we
play it
got
on
here?
stream.
Oh,
yes.
I'm gonna play
I'm
this.
not going to spoil it.
I'm gonna play this, and it's just
Let's
gonna be
not
pictures
spoil
of German soldiers in winter dead everywhere.
WestGermany.jpg.
Oh,
Yeah, but that's my name. It's gonna be this song, and it's just gonna be footage from the winter of 1941 and blown up Panzer IVs and just wrecked. I'm like, fuck you! The snowflakes strike back.
Let's not. Yeah, this is amazing. This is very funny. Let's not spoil what the song is about. What song it is, but this is amazing. I don't think I have ever seen a video version of this song.
What?
Well, it's
I
amazing.
don't think I've heard the audio because it's one of the fucking top hits in the '90s Russia. But
What are they actually
I'll
singing
just about the name of the song. Listen about that. Okay, let's not confuse the people who are listening to us. We'll check out the shitpost on Prostatis. We'll finish it. Before we move on, I would love to make some announcements. That the smiley that we mentioned before took one of the shortest videos that we ever put up, accidental word support, and posted it on Reddit on r/YouTube haiku, and we have thousands of views on it. Like all of a sudden.
Not only has one of our shit posts gone viral, but my friends, this live stream isn't just a celebration of Section 44 of the Constitution. It's also a celebration of our 400 subscribers.
Hey, number 4.
Yeah,
We will be planning.
Big boys, mate. It's big boys now.
Yeah. We are the big boys now. We are planning an
Comrades.
event for a celebration of this great milestone in our careers. And this will be a gaming event. We're still discussing the details of it. But what you can expect is you can expect us playing some video game together with the people who watch us, with like social barbarism. Oh, Barbie just said, "Get 1,000, come back to me." Oh, fuck off, Barbie.
Oh, fight us.
Fuck you, Barbie. I'm like 300 from that.
I have 11. Okay? I have 11. You can all stick it.
Oh, how many have I got?
Double digits will get out, to be honest.
I think I've been trying to get this organized for ages. I've been wanting to get before I was banned, I was trying to get the Snuggly Wuggly Socialists to get in on this. I wanted to get everybody together on a War Thunder server and just fucking like comprise an entire team of leftists driving T-34s.
Everyone picks
And just, like,
T-34.
And just suicide ram into the Germans. Just don't even shoot your guns.
Yeah, I
Just ram into them.
I consider War Thunder to be the event game, but the max amount of players you can have in a squad is 4, or
Yeah,
you
but-
will have to do custom games.
Let's
So I'm
face
not
it,
really sure
all
about
of
this
all
one.
of our subscribers are all over the world. Like we've had people drop out of watching the live stream because it's 4 a.m. where they live. I very
Yeah.
much doubt we'll get more than like 4 people on a server. Really?
Oh my god, the
Exactly.
Italian army's in War Thunder now and they have a tank. God damn it, it's a premium vehicle. I can't afford it.
Yeah, it's a
You
premium.
gotta pay money.
But yeah,
Jesus Christ!
We will be discussing what kind of game, because I have some ideas, like some suggestions. So we will see where we go with it. Because I want to stream it and play with people and as much people as possible and get them all on a voice. So like make something cool out of it. To have
We could do a
Barbie
Hearts
on,
of
maybe
Iron game and
Batgirl.
just watch the lag.
Yeah.
Seconds per frame.
Watch the lag go.
Hell
At
yeah.
South Australia.
I think we are thinking of a game that most likely, well, hopefully free, so that no matter
Yeah.
who you are, you'll be able to get a copy of the game and join us for an evening of
Yeah.
fun. So that's why I suggested Club Penguin.
Hell yeah. That's my
Barbie
shit.
just wrote in the chat, we should play Club Penguin.
Hey,
Yes.
Well, I mean, Aces High, a flight simulator game I play, has a 2-week free trial. I mean, we could all get together and fly I-16s or Yaks and just like cruise around and just be idiots.
Get the boys back together for one last ride.
Like, because I used to, it's a game that desperately needs more attention in terms of like player base. I mean, it's a pay to play game, unfortunately. They have a 2-week free trial, which
We'll discuss
involves-
that after the stream and make announcements where we'll be basically expect a video on the channel where we'll basically explain what the game is about, how we're going to play it, what time we'll be on, and so that you will be able to join us on the stream or in the game itself if you want to play. So it will be in as much of appropriate time as possible. We'll attempt to do something okay, because we have both Australia and United States as our core audiences, and we'll try to cater to them. But
Catering to Yanks.
catering to Yanks.
Well, I mean, at the moment, right now, I'm on the stream right now, but I'm also derping around, experimenting in War Thunder, I'm trying to perfect Deja socialism. I know that sounds really weird, but I've been playing the BT7, and I've been trying to spread Stalinium power through drifting. And
Yes, I
Yes.
also on BT7. We should play together.
yeah, I've been refusing to kill tanks just by shooting them. I have to drive up to them as fast as possible and drift around them and free fire.
Genius.
Deja vu. I have been in this place before.
When the Eurobeat kicks in, fucking let's go.
Yes. All right. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
Well,
There was a news article about a British doctor visiting Australia who was swimming off the coast.
Oh no, this is
Just
bad.
having a good old time, and then all of a sudden, a shark sidles up beside him, and the doctor's first thought was just, "Holy shit!" and punch it as hard as he could.
Right?
Which I think is like one of the most Australian things anyone can do, which is to come to Australia and punch our wildlife.
Yeah.
Let's
It
be
really
honest.
is, though.
I mean, I've punched wildlife, mainly kangaroos. The only problem is they punch back.
You really punched the kangaroo?
Yeah,
It's pretty ballsy.
Shut up.
Yeah,
Is
you know
this
that
real?
you know that video that went viral of that guy saving his dog from a kangaroo by
Yeah.
punching it? That's a daily occurrence.
Fucking hell.
Oh fuck! Panzer IV saw me. Damn it! Ow! Dead.
Oh, you're playing a game.
Yeah.
By the
as I
way,
said,
that shark that attacked the doctor, that was actually Harold Holt.
It's back from the dead.
He's still out there.
Harold Holt is Aquaman.
I still think we need to rehabilitate Mike Rand to save us.
Mike Rand.
No one else is gonna have the political will to make that battery happen.
Toma in the chat said, I punched the spider once and broke my fist. Didn't have my spider knife on me.
Well,
Yeah.
oh, you got to get the spider knife on you.
Yeah.
As I said, I carry a Swiss Army knife. It's a spider knife if you try hard enough.
Spider knife is what they call what you call a machete. Basically.
All right, lads.
A giant fucking sword.
I guess that might be a good point to wrap up, unless anyone else has any last thoughts.
Well, no, I think we're pretty good
I think
actually.
the spider knife is pretty solid note to end on.
Spider
Indeed.
knife.
Well, I'd just
Yeah.
like to say that as someone who Section 44 actually would apply to, on the ending note, I would like to say that I'm voting, instead of just starting with Section 44, I'm thinking, why stop there? Like, Goulash can get behind me on this. I say we just deport Canberra. Like, I'm not just talking
Yeah,
about
get rid of
Parliament.
all,
We deport
everything, the entire
we
land
deport
mass.
the entire ACT. The entire ACT gets deported, no matter who it is.
Oh my god!
Delete it,
Literally
yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Like the
We everyone
coalition,
start the boats. Start
coalition
the boats.
like creates the umbrella organization of the Border Force under the Border Force Act, and they get all like power hungry and whatnot, and then they go through the law and they're like, "Hey guys, look what I found!" And he's holding up a piece of paper that says Section 44 on it. They're like, "Oh, this is all we needed!" And they start driving towards Canberra and just
Yeah.
deporting everyone.
Rub up those
Well-
boats.
No, it's like all these boats we see is from the boat people. Yes. No, I caught the Firefly reference at the beginning of this stream, and I sort of had the same idea. I was sort of like, maybe that's what needs to happen. Clive Palmer just needs to decide to get off his mighty throne and come amongst the plebs and decide to arrange one final victory.
And
He's-
help
I need him
deport
to
all of
keep
Canberra.
I need him to keep making those dank memes, fam.
You gotta say it's a great idea, like Brexit, but inversed.
So seriously, I'm not gonna live on the expense of the taxpayer. Okay. I'm gonna use my own private jet to deport Canberra. We're gonna deport all of them, one at a time. Every fucking last one of them.
All right. Hashtag deport
Anthony
Canberra.
Albanese.
Get on it, lads. Hashtag
Yes.
deport Canberra.
Well,
All right, I think,
on that beautiful note,
Yes. All right, guys. Thank you, everyone,
All right.
for joining us. Thank you to Comrade Pac-Man, Goulash Guy, Spoogs and shit, and Eugene for being here. It was a lot of fun. Make sure to smash that like and subscribe button, and also to hit the little bell so you can always be up to date with future updates. Yeah, so thank you all for joining us, and catch us all next week.
Smash that subscribe button.
later, boys.
Say,
Later.
Hello. To the Discord.